Good morning, guys. How are you? How are you, folks? Hope you're all okay. So, different location, as you can see. We are actually filming in the back of my living room at home. So it's like a bit of a little diner, and just here is we go through to the kitchen and that. And just as a pre-editor, just on the floor in front of me in the main living room is a chocolate Labrador that likes to say, shall we say, likes to say hello to everybody that walks past the front window. So as it's sort of the next update of me, myself and Styrene, I thought what better to, like I said in the first version, I want you to see my whole modelling life and my life around models and how I do. So if he barks, he barks. That's all part and parcel of my everyday life, I'm afraid. He's as friendly as they come, as Greg Riley and people that have met him will know. His name's Charlie. He gives off as though he's the big man, but as soon as one comes near him, he's on the back, he's back and wants to get tickled. He's never shown his teeth or growled at anything in the years that we've had him. I know you can never 100% trust a dog, but my lad's 10 and my nephew is 5. My nephew especially at the minute tortures him, bullies him and all that type of thing, and he's not once growled. So anyway, we're on about modelling, not dogs. Anyway, so yeah, so we're filming in the back of here. Now the reason I'm started downstairs is because the next me, myself and Styrene is going to be the cave and the cave tour. So I'm not going to do the stash yet. That'll be perhaps the next update. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. So I basically want to show you the cave and going up to the cave and whatever else. Now I'm sure I'm not on my own when I say the cave is constantly changing. I sit down and I think, oh, it's okay for now, and then suddenly I'll come up with another thing that I want to change and whatever. So at the minute, in the cave upstairs where I model is just the stash. So, and of course the workbenches and tools and that, but all my books and research material I've moved downstairs into the garage. The garage has been, since we moved in the house in 1993, it's been a dumping ground. I think one of the cars that we've had has only ever been in there perhaps twice, and it was just piled high. So a couple of weeks ago, me and my mother have decided to invest in a couple of skips, and we've cleared the whole place out. I finally had the luxury of being able to sort everything out. So like my diorama bits and all that type of thing are now in drawers, as I will show you, and my books are on shelves, all sorted. Well, they're not all sorted out, but the Osprey ones are on that, which we'll show you in a minute. So we'll go into there, I'll show you that first, and then we'll go upstairs and I will show you the cave. Let me just also say, before we start, this is by no means mine is better than yours. I have more than you, because I know there's guys out there that have way better stuff than me, and I know there's guys out there that aren't as fortunate as me. So I just want to get that out there by now, because those of you that know me will know that I tend to give out more than I buy sometimes, and I give what I can to people if they need. You know, you'll never ask, and I'm more than gladly help people out. So yeah, I love cave tours. I love stash tours. They're my favourite ever videos. I just love them. I just love being nosy and seeing what other people have got. It gives you tips of what people use and how people use them. It gives you things of what you can buy next and what you really want next and all that type of thing. So over the next, well, I'm hoping to not go for an hour because I know you'll all be bored shitless, but over the next, course of the next video, shall we say. I'm hoping you might pick some tips up, you might not, or things that you might want to buy next or whatever. So guys, a few of you asked as well what I record on and what I do. Well, I've only ever been lucky enough to record on my tablet before. However, I have used a few funds recently, and I've purchased this, which is my webcam, my camcorder that I use. It's on a stand, which you can twist off. I've just put it on here in a minute because I'm going to use that for walking around the house. These stands are brilliant because you can bend them, you can shape them, you can grasp them onto things, or you can just sort of, you know, stand them on things so they're there. It's a Sony Handycam HDR CX240. Now I've got it because all you got to do is take that out. You can bend the screen around, you know, and all that type of thing. So that's what I've got. Now a few of you will be asking, what is this, all on the sides of it and at the back? Well, when I go into the cave I'll show you, but this is actually Velcro, and I'll show you why. It's just a quick, good handy thing that I sort of figured out myself to use, so I can do overhead shots and all that type of thing for when I'm doing reviews and all that type of thing. So one of me guys and good friends has pointed out recently that my last video, when I used this camera, which is the Logitech, is it C925 or something? This video using this was a bit blotchy and that. Now I've had to play with the settings and that, so guys, you'll have to tell me how it is. But like I say, I'm downstairs, I'm in a bigger room, so I'm not confined, so the sound will be a bit what's-it. The kitchen is here, and I've got the back door open because it's windy, but it's quite a nice day, and I want Charlie to be able to go out in and out while I'm in the house on my own. So yeah, so I've just basically talked a load of crap for 7 minutes, so let's get on with the tour, and I hope you like it, guys. Just be a bit respectful of, I'm not in the fortunate space of having a caves designated specifically for modelling. It is my bedroom, but you know, again, I know I'm a lot more fortunate than a lot of other guys, but I'm 37 now, and yes, I still live at home, but it's after a nasty split and all that bollocks years ago. But you know, I have been lucky with finances. I've saved all my life. I've had I don't know, I suppose you can look on it as I've been lucky or I've been unlucky, really. I've had compensation payouts from when I was in the forces. Well, a compensation payout for what happened, but it stopped me from doing what I loved. But then I went into something else that I loved, but again my health has come and I can't do that anymore. But I am in a job that I really enjoy at the minute. But again, Braden, my son, I pay for. He has everything that I can possibly give, obviously within reason. If he wants something, I try and do it how I was brought up, that if I want something I need to work for it, or I need to have earned it. So he won't just get, he'll do the washing up, or he'll come and help me clean the car, or he'll keep his bedroom tidy, or the main thing, he'll do well at school, and then obviously I'll try and reward him if I can. That's how I was brought up. So that's my beliefs, and that's how I believe is right. Now I know a load of you probably screaming at camera and saying that's wrong nowadays. I don't give two hoots. That's my life, that's my beliefs, and that's what I do. He's happy. I'm not happy because I can't spend my full paycheck on my models. But the bills are paid and everything else, so you know, I'm not going to say sorry to anybody for that, because I've been through a load of shit in my life. And what I've got, I've earned, and I'm not going to say sorry for it. But I will say again, and I know I keep saying it, I am very, very lucky in the position that I'm in. Anyway, guys, I will see you in a minute. See you in a bit. Ta-ra! So, hi guys, we're back in the recording. So this is now the second part of the cave tour. I had filmed this about 4 or 5 days ago, hence why the first video you see on here, I'm in different clothes and everything. So I just thought I'd introduce you to Charlie. He's a very, very cuddly Labrador. He has got a bad bone in his body, so I just thought I'd introduce you to him. Charles, see if we can get him to go on a funny one, because he's so funny when he does. Charlie, oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, now he's on one. Charlie, come on, show. Go on. Go on. I can see you. Charlie. Oh, and there's a door. Right, won't be a minute, guys. So, hi guys. Yeah, so that was the postman at the door. So I've had another delivery. One, it seems a bit weird actually, one of them, because I'd only ordered one, yet two have turned up, so bonus I suppose. I mean, because I'm the way I am, I feel like I should return it really, but it's only like something small anyway. And the people whose business it is sort of did me over, if you know what I mean, a couple of months ago, so yeah, I think I might keep that. But I still feel really bad, so I don't think I should. Oh, I don't know anyway. I've probably been charged for it, to be fair, because I can't see companies like that making a mistake, but then again, you don't know, do you? Right, so again, we're in a completely different area now. We are in my messy garage, shall we say. So this is where I shall bring you around. Let me just turn this screen around so I can see what I'm doing. So up this corner here is mine. I've sorted it out, bought some extra shelves and everything the other day, and we cleared the garage out. There's my bits of wood. So this is the second part of the cave. So here, over here, some of you might remember, this is my Bosnia build. As you can see, it's very, very big. It's going to be sort of a road block with UN crew and a Russian crew just standing on guard. I'm going to sort of have where the bit of mud is there, it's fallen off, it's going to be like a bit of a shelter. There's going to be like an M60 or something popping out, standing. There's going to be the warrior pulled over with a captain sort of talking to a soldier that's on the ground. And then the BMP is going to be sort of parked over here somewhere, or over here. And obviously I'm going to have road obstacles there and everything. The BMP is going to have a couple of figures with it. Basically all you see at the minute is the base, but it's just all made out of stuff I found in the garden. The stones, we've got an actual old railway line behind the house that's disused and been disused since the 50s. So it's just like a local beauty spot. So I've taken a couple of bricks off there. And then I just added them, so it's, you know, you can't get much real than real, can you really, for your rocks. And then it's just basically dirt from the back garden that I've sieved, got all the other bits out, and then I've basically put it in the oven to kill anything that's still in the soil and dirt. And then I've just stuck loads of white glue over the bricks and the bits of this foam that's the base is on. This is just insulating foam that you can get here in Britain, and then I've just basically filled over it with filler and plaster of Paris and stuff. All this down here will all be painted as well, hence why it's been sort of covered up. So that's like sort of an ongoing project that I'm keeping here, because I lost my mojo for that as well last year, so but it is still going. Right, so let's go over here. So over here is just all the wood and that, excess bits. I've got a neighbour just up the road that's a builder. He's a bit of a handyman and he keeps all the bits. And sometimes I'll come out in the morning and I'll find loads of buckets full of his stuff that he's left outside for me, which is nice of him. So here's the first part of the books. On top is actually diorama stuff from Fog Models. This is like a base. And then, whoa, there you go, that's good, it's falling out for us so you can see. So it comes like this, but it's well packaged. Those of you that buy Fog Model stuff will know that it's very good. It's basically ceramic, and you just paint it. It's come as a little base. I've got that as a quite fancy putting one of the universal carriers, you know, the Lloyd sort of carriers on top of there. Then here is the scale ruined corner house. Obviously you can use it mainly for the Second World War, which is what I suppose it's built for, but I might use it for something else I've got an idea of. And then my biggest main project, which I'm hoping we'll do this year, is this scale Battle of Basra. And all this comes in the box, apart from like your sort of dustbin cart and all that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that sometime soon. put them back, or I'll never put them away. And then you'll notice this big steel sort of cabinet here. Well, this is where I put all my kits that have either been knocked or broken, or ongoing projects that I don't want to do at the minute. So there's the Warrior, as you can see, and then some old diorama Gulf Wars base and stuff, and then these at the bottom are just old builds that I want to keep, so I can use them for spares or bits and bobs, you know. So I keep them in this metal container, so they're nice and safe. Then we have some spare boxes at the bottom here, which well, speak for themselves. Then we come up here and we got the first start of the books. I will do a more in-depth look at the books, because I'll, you know, each part of this, me, myself and Styrene sort of series, I'm going to be doing all what I use me tools for and all this and that, you know. But I do like these Haynes manuals. They have them of all sorts of vehicles, they are great. And then my favourite books are these. They're absolutely brilliant, these ones. They're from Tankograd. This is one of IDF armoured vehicles, and then you've got one of the US military vehicles. And then I like these as well, the MiG ones that have just come out. That one's of the Bradley series. I've got one of the Abrams. There is actually a second one for the Bradley, which I will get. And then you've got your Flightcraft books, which are pretty good, but these Flightcraft books give you all the reference material and everything for what you're working on real life, and then at the back it shows you some kits and what's available for aftermarketing that for it. And it's the same with these ADF and MDF SAM Publications books. They're absolutely awesome. I've just recently bought this because it's only just this last month or so come out. And like I say, when I have a good run through the books and that, and my research material, I'll show you. Then we come up to the second shelf, which is mainly like your Panzer Rex, and then some of these Squadron in Action sort of long books. Then we've got the MiG ones that have just come out for the Tiger that they did, the King Tiger and then the Panther. The Panther one I've just sent off to Adam Mann, so hopefully he'll enjoy reading through that. And then of course, you know, you've got a couple like the Mantha Max Pros, and then this one here I'm about to pull out. It's apparently hard to get now, and it's the Blenheim one. I didn't know that. Thought they'd bring it out especially just for the, you know, bringing that kits come out. Then we've got all your Images of War books, which I absolutely adore, as you know, because I bang on about them. Then up here we've got all the Osprey books and the campaign books, which I absolutely love. So I always go to this and the Images of War books first. Then up the top here we've got all the toilet kitchen rolls and stuff that I bought. My compressor box saved ready just in case. Then this is a good tip. I mean, if you can afford, always try and have a sort of a simpler, more another sort of compressor, because you can guarantee, can't you, that the Sunday evening as you want to do your painting and that, it breaks. And of course, which shops are open on a Sunday evening? Nowhere. And then these are just spare toolkits. And we come down to the bottom, we've got some more drawers which I just keep some spare bits and bobs in. These pipettes you get for $1.99 or $1.99 for 100, or you could spend a £5 on the Tamiya ones and you get 5 and that's it. And then just at the bottom there's ear cleaners and then just some spare sanders. These are all my spare weathering products that I use that I just save because they're spare. Bits of tubs and all that type of thing. Top of milk bottle tops, which are great for you know, keeping your washes on or making a wash in. And then of course, or putting a bit of paint on, and then you can use it as a palette and then you can just throw it away. You don't have to clean it. That's the top of a coffee one. Then we come into all my weathering materials. Hairspray for your chipping, old sanders for doing your weathering and rubbing and stuff. Then we've got your MIG fluid, burnishing fluids and stuff, and then just basically all your weathering products like, you know, snow and bits and bobs, wet stuff. And then that by far is the best set I've ever bought. Engines, oil and fuel. I think it was £13, and you get all 3, and they'll last you for a good 2 or 3 years, depending obviously of how much you build and that over time. So they all stay in here. And then up top I've got all my spare bits of just toothpicks, double-sided tape. Here's another good tip for you guys. Don't use blue tack on your when you're sticking bits together on your models and that, or painting, use white tack, because it's not got the oils in that the blue tack has, and sometimes it doesn't matter how much cleaner you use, the oils on blue tack can be quite a pain to get off. So that's all that. Then we come to the bottom, which that is, it actually works. It's a standard thinner, but it's acrylic, oh, you know what I mean, type thinner. You can thin your Tamiya your paints with and everything. It's absolutely brilliant stuff. It's $11.99 for all of that. Then we've got a drawer full of glossies and your airbrush cleaners. This is the Britain's version of the Pledge floor cleaner. 2 bottles in there, still never used because it's a floor cleaner. Then I'll use my, you know, your usual go-to airbrush cleaners. That's a very good one, I do like. Another good tip for you guys, the airbrush cleaner, once you've got to about halfway down, fill the rest of it back up with water and it works just as good. And then your spare sort of decal fluids and all that type of stuff. In there is just some spare bits and bobs. That's my spare paintbrushes, and then my seafoam that's in there. Then we come to your second drawer down, which is my thinners and stuff. That's my best ever thinner ever for your Tamiya stuff. Brilliant lacquer thinners. Then I've got like your low odour thinners, your mixed stuff. These are just all spares basically. The next drawer down is spare glues and milliputs, which is basically, it explains itself. And then this is all my building materials, so like my bricks, courtesy of Simon Kemp, 1/35th scale models. Brilliant stuff from Simon's bits, and it is really good stuff to work with. I recommend that. Sorry guys, I'm in the garage outside. So if I think about it in a bit when I come to do this video, I'll add a link to Simon's channel. These are all spare paints and primers that are just spare till I run out. I've got some more. One thing I will tell you is I'll show you upstairs, I always list every paint that I get and mark how many I've got, because I know it sounds a bit full on, but you know, the amount of times you go to Hobbycraft or your model shop and think, have I got that or not, and you buy it and you get home, you got like 3 or 4 of them. So yeah. So here is all my putties, not your putties, you know, your clay and all that type of stuff, and plaster of Paris and my tools that I work with. These are all my garden, your sort of weathering materials for like your garden diorama materials, you know, bushes and trees that find some decent sort of tree stumps that you find around the garden and while you're walking the dog. Weathering effects from your MIG bits and bobs, they're all in there. And then in here is just all my bits of string and metal bits of rod and stuff. Now this stuff, guys, is the stuff that you put on top of parcels or birthday presents. You can get all different colours, can't you? Well, these are great for just cutting a little bit off and then adding into your tank observation glasses and that, so you don't have to paint them. That's a very good idea you can use. And then we come up to the bottom shelf here, which is more of the books. These are sort of older and smaller ones. Moving pencils out the way. Always keep a set of pencils in here because you never know when you want one. So they're all there. This is my most favourite book I've had and most expensive. It's about 50 odd quid, but they only made 4,000 of them. So they're by Abtei Lung, you know, the make of the oils and stuff. And then basically that is it for my books at the minute, but they are my favourite type of thing about this hobby, as you all know who follow me. And then up here you'll see, no, they're not more kits, they're basically the kits I've built. And what I do is, because I've not got enough drawers at the minute, I basically save the boxes with all the spare bits in, so I know that if I want, say, some wheels off an M3A3 Bradley, I can have a look if I've got some spare in there, you know, until I get enough drawers that I can separate everything. And then another thing, I don't know if you'll notice up here, but I'll show you when we go upstairs. Here, the front of it's ripped off, and what I do is I trim it all up nicely, cut it off, trim it all up nicely, and then I place it on the shelf next to the model kit. So in years to come, you can look and you can think, ah, right, that's what kit it is, that's what number it is, you know, and such and such. So that's one I always tend to do. Right guys, that's basically it for in the garage, which is the cave tour part 1, and then we'll go upstairs into the main cave. Okay guys, see you in a minute. Bye. Okay guys, so we're now back in the house. Now I don't know if you can remember these. This is in the spare room we got at home. So the first one is the Eduard Spitfire, which is that kit, and this is what I was telling you about. I saved the cards for the end so you can see what they are, especially when they're not going on a diorama base and that. Here's the my Lancaster that I built, which I got quite a good bit of feedback off you fellas and folks. It was lovely of you, thank you. And then of course that's what kit it was. Okay, so we'll now come through to the cave. So we're coming out of the landing and then on here outside the cave is the one thing that I've got, and that was one of the best kits I've ever built. Lovely kit. Takom are just great, they really are. And I built that for Joe's group build last year. This is my son's bedroom, which is an absolute trash, so I won't show you it all. That's my son's stash. He's getting slowly into the hobby, which is nice, but this is all courtesy of Al Woods and Joe Bentley, and myself of course. I've added the odd few. So now we come into my cave slash bedroom. So this is the look from the door, and as you can see I've got a nice window, but because it's dropped down you don't get all that much light, which sounds funny but you don't. So we'll come in and we'll start from over here. So we come in and you're first met by your Star Wars picture. I have all 3 of these, the other 2 are in my lad's bedroom on the wall. Then we come on to my first set of builds I've done. That's the SU-30 Hobby Boss. Tammy's old 148th Harrier, which was okay actually. And then I believe that was for the Pacific group build, I think, and that was from Joe, something that was Academy kit. But what I do is guys, it's because I save room on the shelves and everything, and sometimes I will have them hanging off the ceiling, but because I'm 6'3", I keep banging my head and the roof is not that great in here, as I'll show you. So I just stick nails into the wall and do it that way. However, they are going to change soon because I'm going to add some grips that I've got, but it's just a novel idea of sticking and saving more space, isn't it, I suppose. So we come up to the first part of the stash. I'm just going to go through this quickly. I'm just going to let you see it because the stash will be another day. So I've just got this shelf. I have my sci-fi on there. They are sort of shelves with they sort of my spare bits. I've just released this inbox review of that. These are all spare bits and bobs. That's all my Eduard extra bits and bobs that you get. Just turn the sound on, light on for you. So they're all like figures and all that type of thing. And then up top is like your all bits and bobs, which are like bits I picked up at shows, like these bits of aftermarket and that, you know, that are resin and made camouflage netting and all that type of thing. Then I've got on the wall here Braden and my Port Vale badges, and then that's Braden's first ever football top saved on the wall, which I love. There's Darth. Looking over my cup of coffee. Sorry guys, just have a quick cup. Then we come up to my figures, like I say, and the figures go sort of that way on the shelf because of course I've got to keep space and keep room really, but I will extend down to eventually into the garage. Then here's the stash. As you can see, it's pretty big. I've got nowhere else really to keep it, so I'm just going to run through so you can see quickly. And I will do this another day. It's another part of me, myself and Styrene. So I try and keep them in order of manufacturer if I can, but of course it's fixing the boxes in and all that type of thing. But that's that really is over my Sky system and my TV for when the footy's on, or I watch, you know, stuff while you're doing your bits and bobs. There's my stuff I'm watching at the minute on TV when I go to bed. It's Only Fools and Horses and Men Behaving Badly. Here's my chair, and this chair was 70 I think off eBay. I could have got a second one free, but because one of the parts wouldn't fit, but I managed to get it, and because I was being a bit too honest I thought no, I can't do that, so I said no. So I just got this one. Damn, what was I thinking? So come up here, so it is a first shelf, which is I'm going to try these for the first time ever. on my Phantom build. Just want to give them a try. I've got a pin board which keep all my bits of cards and all that type of thing on there. Then this is a must, a fire extinguisher. With having the compressor and so many aggressive fluids in here, it'll take seconds for it to go up and then you've lost basically everything. Here's my sets of drawers and that I keep all my extras on and my action figures on top. These are like, this is one thing I want to show you guys. I've just bought a few bits of this sort of photo etch stuff, which is basically markings and masks for your tanks. That's what I used on the Panther build. And then I keep all my extra bits in there, you know, like smaller bits, shall we say, and some spare pipettes. Then of course you've got your window, which is my light. That's one of my lights, courtesy of Tim Hedworth. He gave me a link because I liked his lights. And of course, if you just come back a bit, you can move it round. You can have it over to here. You know, it's just really good. I love these lights, and they're a bit expensive, but they're well worth it. And you've got it for life if you look after it. Then we come down onto here on the left hand side of my paint area. You've got your photo etch bits there, then my fillers, and then my decal solutions and decaling bits. Then just sort of everyday tools for shelves and screwdrivers and that. Then on my top drawer we've got my airbrush setup. This is the Ultra, which is the workhorse. I swear by Harder and Steenbeck. They're fantastic. This is my workhorse. I mean, I've had this and dropped it and all sorts, and it's still perfect. So I recommend that if you're after a first airbrush. And the second one I got the other week, which was last year sometime. It was Evolution Harder and Steenbeck, so I've gone up a little bit. Which I use that for basically my detail work, and that one's for me priming and base coats. Down here I've got all the spare needles. I've bought quite a few extra needles and heads and that, so I can swap down to different sizes and whatever. Airbrush lube, Sean Jury, if you're watching, this is the other stuff I use instead of that, because that's about £8 for some Badger stuff, and this is sewing machine oil, and it works just as good, and that was £2. And then just various bits I use for cleaning out my airbrush, which these are very good, they're sort of your toothpicks and stuff. Then we come underneath, which is basically my spare tools, files, and then it's a paintbrush stand, which I absolutely love. These are great. I mentioned these in my Phantom video. These are your tools, your trumpeter tools, and the small sort of files, metal files, and they've got like all different shapes of heads and that, which are very good, and they're pretty cheap too. And then just some spare files and engravers. And then in the bottom is my screws, my drill bits. So I've got quite a few bits of them, because I went on an epi one day of buying one thinking I ain't got it, which was a bit daft. Then we come on to, excuse the paintbrushes guys, I apologise, I'm just trying to go through. I bought some more the other day and I just want to sort through them and that. Now this is what I've been using for a while as my airbrush stand, and a few people have used this after speaking to me, which I was quite chuffed with. All it is basically two ring bind folders with basically the ring binds, the connectors in the middle just ripped off. They've filled up with sellotape at the back or tape, and then all I do is I just attach them to the wall with some drawing pins, and then fold them round onto a base of basically wood. And then basically that's it. I don't need a vent or anything, because I'm lucky enough I've got the window just there and I can open it wide. I can also open the small one. And after time, of course, 99p for one of these. So if I need another one, I just rip it up, chuck it away, and come and just add another one for 99p. Bob's your uncle. Now I've been doing it now for nearly 2 years, 3 years possibly, a bit more, taking it seriously with an airbrush, and these are still the same ones. So they're brilliant, they really are, and they're so you know, workable and that, they're great. So that's that. And then what I do is, if I'm worried about a bit of dust and stuff, I just simply get the Hoover and hoover over them. Right, let's put some of these lights on so we can see a bit more clearly, so you can see what we've got and what we haven't got. Sorry guys. So right, hairdryer and hand tool, hand drill, your Dremel. I just use a Wilko's cheap one, it's about 20 quid, does everything I need brilliantly. Now this is what I do use, which some of you might think is good, some of you might think it's ridiculous, I don't care. Basically a toilet brush stand, toilet to roll stand, metal, as you can see. And I was in B&M the other day for 99p. I thought I'll get one of them and then I can just stick me bits on. I just got to turn it round, rip it, and they come out, no bother at all. Drawers underneath here, which have just got my masks that I wear for spraying sometimes, and then my cocktail sticks with some gator clips just stuck on the end for holding me bits and bobs, and you just jam it into your piece of foam to stand up. And then here's the other one, which has got my pegs and clips. These are great pegs, they're basically rubber on the inside, so they're just brilliant to sort of hold your bits. They really are good. And then we come to underneath, where I've got your usual typical airbrush stand from Tamiya. All my spare bits of card and boot marks and that I use. Then underneath here is my weathering books that I like to use, and bits of plastic card that I've got saved. I tend to buy this weathering magazine if they're cheap enough, and I tend to try and get the version that I'm sort of struggling on, or I need a bit of help on that certain area or technique on weathering, you know, so I tend to get ones that I'm not 100% sure on. I've just also purchased a couple of these Abraham Squad books, which are great. They offer just build throughs basically, but of course you can always pick tips up, and they're about £6 I think, so you know, but you've got them for life then, haven't you, you know. And then I also use, I don't know if you can see, let me try if I can get it out, beg your pardon, suits you sir, this card, and again it's like the stuff in the garage, it's silvery, glittery and shiny, so you can use it for your tank observation glasses, so I just buy some of that sometime. Top of here is all my spare paint brushes. I don't know if you probably already do this, but what I do is I sort of stick rubber bands around a section of paint brushes that are for detail, weathering, oils, etc, etc, so they're not cross-contaminated and all those bits. These ones I've just bought. I don't sort of buy any Winsor & Newton expensive ones, I go for the cheaper brands, but these are brilliant. I love these Cotman, Winsor & Newton Cotman. They really are great, and they keep the shape and all sorts, and they're very cheap too. And these are the Spectra, which are sort of same sort of line but a different colour sort of thing. And then I found these, I've never seen these ones before, but these are a bit more expensive. So I've been told these are like your next ones down from Winsor & Newton Series 7. So these are like your professional ones, and I've used them already for painting the cockpit and the Phantom. And yeah, alright, not too bad. And these are the cheaper brand, which is the Aquafine Dalo Rowney ones. I use them for your sort of weathering and some detail painting, because they are pretty good too. And then we have an airbrush. This is for my brush, to clean my brushes in. And then what I do is, guys, I know some of you already know this, but I use one of these, and I keep it in the bottom of in the bottom of this. So basically when you're cleaning your brushes, all the pigments drop down to the bottom, and then next time you wash your brush, it's not sort of contaminating and going on there again, which is pretty good. Airbrush stand, paint mixer, which is great, some spare clips and scissors. These are the pipettes that I use for certain ones, so like I've got one for black, one for whites and such, and these are the brushes I use for cleaning my airbrush. Then we come down to the drawers down here. These are basically my pens and pencils ones. I just use everything that in there for, you know, your markers and bits and bobs. Close the bugger. Then it's the tapes, which is your Jammy Dog ones. I love these. These are great. These are the ones I use for my straps on the weapons and stuff. So you can get 0.75mm, 1mm, 1.5mm, 0.5mm. There's loads, and of course I've got my Tamiya ones, and then the Kabuki tape, the great Kabuki Mystery. You can remember that a couple of years ago. I think Will Pattinson did a video on them, because they're all saying this is a cheaper brand, but just the same as your Tamiya tapes. Put that back in. God's sake, stay. Then here's all my masks, masking sheet from Tamiya, your usual wheels ones, and then a circle cutter for your circles. And then this is basically a plumber's washers. They're basically rubber, and they are all different sizes. So such a thing like your missile heads underneath and all around nose cones and that, which are a bit awkward to get a simple circle that go all the way around and it matches. Just roll one of these on and bang, you're good to go. And of course you just rub it off and then it's done. And then these are all my masks that I've got for kits in my stash, and then spare decals. Always save your decals, guys, always, because you can always use them for another sort of project you've got, and also somebody else might need them one day or something like that, you know. And then at the bottom is just all my materials that I've used for my recording and tried out over time. This is the camera I'm using at the minute, which I showed in the video earlier. This actually knackered after about 2 weeks of using it, and of course you can't get hold of the guy, and then buggers off. Anyway, then we come to the side with a few drawers. These are my spoons that I use for checking and doing paint tests on. And then my Zimmerit tools, the Trumpeter Zimmerit tools. I recommend these highly because they also come, they're about £4 or £5, and if you keep them clean, which this one hasn't, but it's easy enough to get off. Like, you know, this you can sort of roll it on, and then the other ones you can just stamp on, which is stamp it on, which is good. Then I've got my razor saws and my sewing pins. And then at the bottom are all my photo etch tools for scribing and rescribing. Here is a riveter that Nigel Wells told me about. It's the RB Tools one. It's brilliant, it really is. I've also mentioned that, I think, in my video of the Phantom. Then we come up to my thinners and airbrush cleaners. This is basically my the thinner that I use, and then I use Surgical Spirit, which I'll show you in a bit. Please keep using, if you ever want a cheap alternative that will get rid of anything, and I mean anything, the toughest of stains or anything, it's Surgical Spirit. It's cheap, it's safe, it doesn't smell, and it literally gets rid of anything. It will probably almost get rid of the enamel off your teeth. I use that for my airbrush cleaning. I just put a little bit through first, and then I wash it through with the airbrush cleaner. I know Greg Riley now uses that because I told him about it, and he uses it and he says it's fantastic. A couple of guys at E-Models now use it as well, so they've said that they've had airbrushes for a while that they've had in to fix and they couldn't get these stains off. They've used that, and then of course it works a treat and they're back working again. Rubber gloves up to the next shelf. And rubber gloves, I always like these black ones because they're powder free, and you know, they're just black. I just love them, I don't know why. And then the best invention ever known to man, baby wipes. If you're a parent, you will 100% agree with me, and they're just brilliant. Pull them out, wipe the surface down, they're clean, tidy and done. And then the last bit on this side is my compressor. I use the Badger one, which Joe Bentley and his wife Alison very kindly bought me for my birthday. I think it was a couple of years ago. I never keep any air left in the airbrush in the tank, because it can, I've heard it can do some damage. And then I never even keep my airbrush kept as well on top because of dust and all sorts that can get onto it. So I just put these little clips underneath the table and it just hangs off there. And then that's basically it for that side. Okay guys, so then now we come up to the shelf just above the thing, the airbrush part. Here are my Panzer Aces and detail painting area. These are the ones I swear by when I'm detail and brush painting. They're just brilliant. They're thick that you can water down. Sometimes you don't have to. They're just brilliant. They're so brilliant to paint with. I have a few of the Citadel ones that I use sometimes, which aren't too bad. And then I wanted to try these Guns paints a few months ago, and yeah, they're okay. They just finish a bit shiny for me, and that's my only Alclad 2 paint that I use, which was courtesy of Bees Beasley. This is your Armour Glass one. And then come up to the next shelf, which is my spray paint side, which is, as you can see, I swear by Tamiya. It's not the full range, but it's the ones I tend to try and keep to. You know, as I love, they're just brilliant. They spray brilliantly for me. Thinners, speaks for itself. This is one I do use, I don't know if a lot of you do. Sansador, oh, sorry guys, where you gone? There you go. Sansador, Winsor & Newton. It's just like the odourless thinner, but it's odourless, doesn't smell at all, and it's a lot softer and a lot less harsher on your painting and plastic that you do. Clay wash, I keep here, and then just your matte mediums and retarders and that up that end. Then we come up to here, which are basically my go-to washes that I use. Just a quick look at the washes and panel liners. My chipping materials, then my favourite ever metal paints. I've really just bought these ranges, but again I'm going to try and do a build which is full metallic, and I want to give these a right good go. But when I have used them, they're perfect, they really are. And there's my primers I use. Then we come down towards the workbench where all the magic is apparently supposed to happen. So we'll just step away a bit. That's the look of it from the distance. Okay, so we'll come a bit closer and we'll come in. Right. Let's just pull these lights down again so you can see. So here's my mugs, little shelf that I like my mugs. I don't know, I just love something about a mug, which is pretty good. Those of you that don't know, I love my football and rugby and tennis, was sports mad and that. And then here's all my signs and my little bits of you know, your card pull-outs and all that. And guys, what do they call them now? Workshop cards people have sent me. There's Charlie Max. This is Solomon's, and then a few others, Charlie's old ones, I think. Sons of Anarchy, brilliant, Star Wars and all that type of thing. And here's my old Star Wars and figures and bits that I've found over the years. This is an original Chewbacca from the 70s. These are a bit older newer ones. My favourite ever sports game ever known to man, Subbuteo, the flick to kick football game, loved it. My mum and dad's fortunately no longer with us, and that's the Premier League trophy over here in Britain, which is the new, which is Subbuteo one. Best ever sanders for using for your cockpit, your fuselages, because you can bend them and they go into shape of the fuselage and all that type of thing. You can use them on armour. They are good, but they're a little bit expensive. But once you've got them, you've got them. A few little bits of my son's work which I'll keep in here, but I'll show you or she'll kill me. I mean, this I couldn't believe. Look at this. He's never used an airbrush before, guys. Look, first flaming job he's done. Look at that. I could not believe it. That is awesome. So there's that one, and then we keep the drawers here, which is basically all the bits and bobs I use. So tweezers, scissors, hobby knives and your clippers. Sorry guys, the phone went off. And then we come up to this corner. This is basically a cup warmer. It's done by your USB cable. I use that for my decal tray. I put it on and then put your decal tray on top and it keeps them nice and warm. The water. Tape container, which is great. Earbuds, which are covered up because of the dust. Cocktail sticks. My Microsol and Microset with the two brushes I use for it. I haven't used this new Ultimate stuff yet, but I'm looking forward to trying that. R2, little Lego character that it keeps me company at the bench because I'm sad. And then my glues that Simon Kemp very nicely made me, which I was dead chuffed with. It really is great. And these that are basically from UMP, which are really good actually. You know, good idea. I know obviously the idea was there before because people have been using like cutting out foam and that. So these are my two go-to glues. I use those mainly, and then that I don't use much at the minute because I tend to use this as my go-to when I need time to work on the product, work on the actual piece, you know, when you need it a bit of time before it dries. I use this Dulux Materials Plastic Magic, which is great. Or I use, oh sorry, let's just go on to here. Comes with your standard brush that Tamiya use, but also you get a longer one, which I know the Tamiya brush extends, but I'm just saying. So that's that one, and then I also use Revell Contactor if I just decide to use that for a bit. Then we've got your more glues, which is my go-to super glue range, which is Dulux Materials Rocket. They're brilliant, they really are. They come with all different time frames of drying. So you've got your super fast one, which is absolutely lethal. The amount of times I've stuck myself to myself is untrue. Yes, I can hear you laughing, Neil. Thank you very much. My Clear Fix, this is the clear stuff that I use for canopies and all that type of thing. And then of course your Crystal Clear, which again is the micro scale products. Masking materials, I always use Mr. Masking Sol R, and then on the very odd occasion I use Humbrol Mask Gold, because if you leave that on for too long, for about 3 or 4 days, it can start to rot your plastic canopy or your part. Coffee, because I need a coffee because it's morning. Excuse me. My different files that I use now, my go-to files, which are Tamiya fine files, and then I use, I think these are Excel or Expo or whatever they're called tools. It's like a little bit of a thicker toothpick. They're okay, but over time the grit comes off quite easily. And I tend to now use Flory sanders, as they are just brilliant. They really are. I've just bought the sort of near enough the full range of the thinny sticks, because they are my favourite ones and the go-to. And then I've got a pencil stationery holder, which I use for my paintbrushes. So you've got sort of next one's up from your detail painting, so it can cover a bit more areas. My detail painting brushes, really thin ones, and then your flat brushes that you can use for obviously flat brush work. I do tend to go for these now, these Ab Tai Lung brushes. They are very, very good, quite cheap as well, and they hold their ends. I did buy a few of these Ab Tai Lung, the white ones. Where you gone? The white ones, which are the same Marta Kalinsky. Now, I don't know, these are a bit, the ends seem to go a bit too quickly for my liking, and they're a bit more expensive than the other Ab Tai Lung ones, but they're only about by pence, so it's not too much. And then we have my lamp, which is connected onto the bench, and then of course I just move it over when I need to. Now, if you guys have noticed on the other lamp, I've got Velcro sat on the sides, and then what I do is I've got Velcro stuck on this camera, and then I can sort of basically do your overhead filming, because I can attach the camera to that, because I haven't got anything I can use for overhead, and I'm too lazy to build one, and with it being so I haven't got much space, I can't really you know, sort of do much more really. So yeah, we come up to here now. So we're on like my clipboard, which I think you should always have a clipboard handy. A whiteboard. Now this is one of the best purchases I've ever made, because like here, Luke, each project I can write down if I'm finishing for the day, and I know I'll forget by next time I do it what I need to do or look at. I always just write it down on here, or on a piece of sort of what they're called now, you know, these type of pads that you can stick onto, you know, just have it next to you. But again, it's more clutter on the bench, but I do like those, and I also like these as well, which are sticky ones that you can stick on pages of your instructions. They was always great. But yeah, I always have a whiteboard, because then you can keep writing bits down and that you need to remember. So that's that part. So we come down to underneath now. See if I can get the light under. So let's start over here. This is the stand that I've got that I use for my instructions. So I just basically stick your instructions in, which I just happen to have here. You know, and then you can work off it, so you sort of, you know, you don't have to have it on the bench lying around everywhere. It's quite good to have. Wet palette, and then just some smaller drawers with old photo etching that save, empty. These are like your cocktail sticks in your barbecue sticks, but with flat ends. You can stick a bit of white tack on the end, so you can spray brush the bit there, you know, that you're holding on to, and then the bits that are sticking for your wheels and that. And then they are just old tops and lids and that I use for my weathering stuff. Bin, that's where most of my electric comes through, and there's also one that's behind that desk as well. Now I always I try and keep my research and reading materials separate when I've got my project going. So this is a container of this project that I'm doing now with the Phantom. This is all the research bits that I use for that, so it's easy to find and get to. Then I usually, for tidiness, just keep the kit I'm working on at the minute down there, and then I keep a tub. Always try and keep a tub, guys, or something that you can keep the dust off your work and that, because it can, and when you forget to give it a clean down before you paint or something, then you're knackered because you've got loads of dust everywhere. Start from the top. This is just my drawer where I keep a few spares. So I've got like my turntable for the desk when I'm showing you bits of work. Paint palettes. These are all the glossies that I use in Go-To Gloss. I've just managed to get hold of this Alclad Aqua Gloss. Thank God, finally got some. These are my more expensive sort of, what they're called, Tamiya earbud cleaner things. You got all different shapes and sizes and that, so they're pretty good. Ball bearings and steel balls for in the paints and weathering materials. There's a spare chisel, and there's my geek goggles, which are brilliant. This is a great invention. This is courtesy of Greg Riley. It's a hoover for your workbench, so when you've been sanding and that, you can just quickly zzz, and it plugs in using a USB port cable. Greg, brilliant. Then second drawer down is my pigments and my oils that I use. I like my Abteilung oils. And I also like the Abteilung pigments, which are basically mid-production stuff. But they're also my favourite other brand is Winsor & Newton oils. I decided to try some of these, which are the biggest rip-off on the market, bar your steel toothpick cocktail sticks. They're basically a little bit of oil in a tube. It's basically an eyeliner makeup stuff, and it's thinned down, whereas all you got to do is get a bit of thinner, and then that will last you for the rest of your life. But that's just my opinion anyway. Then at the bottom I've got all my paint sets. I use all different paint sets, mainly my favourite ones, which are the Vallejo ones, and then these are just sort of ones that I use for, never use these for spraying now, I just use them for hand painting. These are very good as well, the, what they called, live colour ones. This set is courtesy of Greg. Greg gave me that one, because I gave Greg a few bits last time he was down. So that's that. Right. Then we come up from there, guys, we come on to the first shelf, which is, I don't know if you'll know, but there is my award-winning Panther from the Stoke-on-Trent Model Show, and my little prize next to it. This is my camera that I use for the hangouts and stuff, as you can see, and it can go down now. I can stick it on a stand that I've got. Red nose, and then this is where I keep all my better models and my favourite ones that I prefer to keep here. As you can see, I use the ends of the boxes, cut them down neatly so you can see which kits they are and what brand, etc, etc. That was one of my favourite ones that I ever did. This one, I love this one, it was great. Your Tamiya Stub G, this one is, Luke. It's not the cheaper one, it was the sort of the next one up, the more expensive, well I say more expensive, a couple of quid more expensive. But I loved it, I love that kit. Then we go up to the top one, which is basically Doctor Who and some awards that I had. Then my Airfix calendar. Then we're back to Star Wars. But before that, we'll go on to underneath here. This is underneath the bed and my spare drawer. Now in here, oh my god, oh dear. Wet ladies tights. Yeah, let me tell you first, and I know all of you saying, yeah, whatever, we've caught you. These are brilliant for the netting over the top of British World War II helmets, or any helmet really. You pull it tight and you've got your webbing then. It's courtesy of Beasley told me that. All different wires in sweet containers. and more. I've just bought myself some more of this plastic strip, styrene strip, which people are starting to tell me about. I've watched videos, are all good. Got myself one of these grass flock things just to see if they work and they're okay. These are the clips that I told you about that I'm now going to try and start using for hanging the models off the wall. They look a lot better, and you know, they should work hopefully. If not, then nothing lost really, is there? Glue gun. And then here's another tip of mine which I recommend, guys. These are just, I save all of my instructions, always have done, always will do. It's just so in case any of you guys ever, oh sorry guys, I bet you're feeling sick now, any of you ask, say, oh such and such got the instruction for whatever, you see, I can look through here now and see if I've ever done that kit, and I can say, oh yeah, there we go, we've got it in there or something, you know. And it's just handy to have, and also for yourself as well, for a bit of future reference material, because you never know, you might do the kit again or something like that or whatever. So I always keep them in there, so I've got loads of in there. So if you're ever struggling for manuals or anything like that, guys, give us a shout, because I might have them. These are just all my handouts and that you get, you know, with sort of little flyers and that of, you know, which are on the wall, and some are just stuck in here, so like, you know, different brands that are coming out. In here, what is in here? Oh, I know what this is. This is all my maps and that I've used for over time. Yeah, so like they're all maps and that are on A4 paper. It can go and print. These are the hard copies, so I can go and print them off on card. And then you've got your bits and bobs for accessories. Then this is all my old spare bits and bobs I've got in this tub, which is just the spare bottles, some spare paintbrushes that I bought recently, bits of spare glossies, more spoons, masking tapes and bits. Yeah, and that's basically it. So yeah, so that's the part of the tour done, guys. Hi guys, so yeah, that was the cave tour. Now it's a bit long, but I think most people's are, aren't they, because you have so much stuff and crap that you've got up over the time that, you know. But I also find as well, I tend to try and do these once a year, because then you can sort of come back and you can see how you sort of progressed or declined, whatever, you know, and it's just a little bit of a personal record for yourself, which is pretty good. So yeah, this was by all means, as I've stressed in the first part, not a mine's bigger than yours and all that crap that people do nowadays. Because those of you that know me, guys, I hate rivet counters and I hate patheticness, you know, of that type of thing. I just think we should all get on, you know, and all it is a bit of fun, because I know I'm nosy and I absolutely love people's videos of the stashes and the caves. I just love seeing it, because it can also give you ideas of what to build next, or oh, that's a good tip, I didn't know that, you know. So yeah, so that's all it was really. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, guys. As I said, this is part of the Me, Myself and Styrene series, so we will progress, and next time we will do another video. But like I say, I'm hoping it to be sort of quite a big series, so like there might not be a video for another 3 months of this series, you know. It's just a little thing that you can keep adding, because I want you guys to get to know me as a modeller. So that's all it is. It's not bragging, it's not trying to what's it myself or anything like that, you know. I just think it's interesting that people find out about people and know, and you get to like or dislike or whatever, you know, but you get to know the person more. So, and also people have seemed to like this idea, so you know, we'll see. One video might be what do I use for my clippers, my sprue cutters, my glues and such, you know. So there is a range, a wide range there, where you can keep this series going for, it's like a TV series, isn't it, you know. You can just keep it going, it's great. So but yeah, so I'm expecting this one and probably your stash sort of tour to be probably the longest sort of videos, because you know how I get rambling as I am now and a load of crap. So anyway, guys, hope you're all well, hope you'll stay safe, and may the force be with you. Bye.